What's going on, guys? We create an opportunity. We're not waiting for opportunity. We're creating opportunity. We're not waiting for opportunity, right? Because the time is now. Our time is now. Okay, so I want to talk to you about people you hire in your life and firing people in your life, okay? Letting people go and being careful who's around you. And why I use the terminology hire and fire, because we still have to look at ourselves as an entity that is of value. I would like us to look at ourselves as an entity in the sense of value, not a sense of not being human, but in a sense of value, how to create value within ourselves, within our lives, right? Day to day. So when I say hire people in your life, a lot of us have inherited people in our life, which is family. A lot of us have met people who stay within our life over time period as we grow up. And sometimes we meet new people in different situations that we've been in. And sometimes these people need to be fired, right? I'm just gonna say it like that. They need to be fired. Family or friends or associates need to be fired. Just like a company would fire a person if they're not doing their daily tasks, at least, and is not doing anything to progress the company or that's helping the company. If it's just taking away from that company, maybe sleeping on the job, coming in late all the time, doing the bare minimum, doing what other people can do that they don't really need them to do anymore, and they haven't advanced in anything else, okay? These are the same things with people in your life. They show up at the wrong times. They're not there when you need them. They're not even giving you a phone call or an email or a text to say, hey, how's everything going? Because even with a company, a boss doesn't contact his employee every day. It just may be times throughout the month or throughout the quarter where they just check in certain things to see if it measures up how it needs to be that relates back to that employee. So it's the same thing. Or people that's in your life, what are they doing for you? Because are they useful or useless? And sometimes some people have ran their course and you have run their course in their life. It works both ways because you could be wasting their time and they could be wasting yours. You understand? Because you're constantly in communication with these people and nothing's coming of it day to day. Constantly going out with these people and nothing's coming of the habit except money being spent and time being wasted. What have you achieved with this person? Have you guys achieved anything emotionally, mentally, physically, financially? Is there anything that you get from this relationship? Because even an employer to employee, that's a relationship still, right? And the thing that's supposed to come from it is more financial abundance, right? It's supposed to help the company time-wise. It's not supposed to take away and tap at the company. Are your relations tapping at you? Are they taking away from you? Are they not making you better? Is what I'm saying. Are your relationships hurting you? Are you hurting someone else? You have to analyze that too, because sometimes an employee realizes this is not the place for me, right? An employee also realizes that too, like, I've outgrown this, or I can't do this. This is not what I want to do every day. This is not what I want to do with my life. So it's not a bad thing either way if you fire someone or they quit. You just have to understand where the relationship works and where it doesn't work. You understand? And this is why we have to be taking care of how we allow people to come in our lives and where their placement in our lives. Because it's just like having a conversation with someone that's a friend. You may not agree on everything. So you may argue about politics. You may argue about certain sports. You may argue about beliefs. So sometimes as a respect standards, you say, we're not going to have this conversation, but we'll talk about the things we do like to talk about. Maybe it's entertainment. Maybe it's movies. Maybe it's technology. Maybe it's stocks and bonds and trades. So you guys relate on that level and you keep that thing going because that's what brings you guys together. You don't go ahead and say, I'm going to keep on pushing that conversation, try to change this person's mind and show them now, right? Because it's going to cause negative outcome in y'all situation. Y'all going to constantly be talking about argumentative situations. You're just constantly arguing, which is not a good relationship. So you have to make sure when you bring somebody in your life, what department, like in a corporation, what department do they need to be in? Compartmentalization is very important and key in structure. You know what I mean? Because not everybody in my family is in every part of my life of what I do. And not all of my friends are in part of everything that I do in my life, because we relate differently. Some of them are universal. Sometimes I'm universal for them as well, where we're in part of a lot of different places in our lives, and we're all a part of that because we can function in that movement together. So it works. But some people, this is where you need to be, this is where I need to be, and that's how we work great together. That's how our relationship works great. So when you check that first, where this person needs to be, and then also, is that person good enough to be in that position for you? Does that help you? Do you help them? Or are you just collecting more people, causing yourself more expenses, wages, right? That you have to pay, more liability that's costing you, expensing you later in life, you know, because you're hanging out with this person every weekend and all you do with this person is constantly hit the club, shopping, you know, just constantly going out. When you know that weekend, what you need to do is, I need to sharpen up my skills. I may need to work out. I may need to spend more time with my family, you know, my children, my partner, you know what I mean? Do some self-meditation. And that person's kind of like, oh, don't worry about that right now. Come on, we got this going on, this and that and that. And you're like, all right, and you get sucked into it. And you do it because that's your friend, right? Or that's your family, right? Because sometimes you need to tell your mom and dad too, hey, pump the brakes. I need some separation here. I need some time because I have things that I have to do. You live in your life and you have your experience, or you're in a different level of your life and I'm in a different level of mine, and this is what it needs. So you have to pay attention to that. And you may say to yourself, you know what? I'm with this person all the time. We're hanging out, we're doing this, and that person's not doing anything for me. It's not developing me. Our relationship hasn't developed. You know, I'm not smiling a lot more. I'm not feeling emotionally stronger. I'm not looking financially stronger. You know what I mean? It's always just sucking me dry, you know, and that person needs to be fired. That person needs to be fired. You know, it's not like you tell them, oh, give the person the boot, like get the hell out of my life. But you're saying to yourself, this relationship is going nowhere fast. You know, a lot of people think they just need to be in a relationship of man and woman or a partner and be like, okay, no, the relationships is day to day. Who are you conversating with during the day? And what is that doing for you? Do you need to readjust that? Do you need to shorten those conversations? Because me taking that 15, 20, 30 minutes, hour to talk to this person has done nothing. But you know, when you get with this person, it's going to be that kind of conversation. And you don't have time for it, right? You don't have time for it. So when you hire someone in your life, like again, you need to go ahead and make sure that this person is fit in the structure where you need that person to be. You know, and don't put so much on that person. You know, as an employer, you need to understand how much you can give your employee. If you can give your employee this much within your life, you know what I mean? This much within the business, you understand? And they can handle that. Don't overdo it and give them everything and say, I'm gonna make him do this, this, and this, and this task. And you know, the person only can get this and this task done, or the person has shown you, I can't handle all that other stuff. So you don't need to put that person in that department or give that person that much task of your life. You just need to give them what they can handle, what works with you guys, that you see a return on. That person sees a return on. It's equal, you know, employer to employee type status, right? So I'm telling you, because a lot of us run around with all these people, all this family, and feel all this pressure from it, and are not receiving or gaining anything from that. But we feel, well, that's my family, so I have to do that. That's my friend, so I have to do that. Let me tell you the number one thing too with the family part. Those were employees, and you became an employees to them too, and employers. That was inherited, okay? So basically your mom or dad gave you the referral, and everybody was like, all right, well, we know these two, and we with them, so we're gonna hire you onto this, you family. You're part of this corporation now, right? And you moved up the ladder over the years, and you ran into certain people in certain departments, and now you become a director, you know what I mean? And you're like looking at situations, you're like, this person don't work, but it's family and they've been here so long, so I'm gonna keep them. No, that's not how that works. They're in that department. You need to understand the department they're in, deal with them in that department, and grow them in that department. If you see certain things or they see certain qualities that grow them to go into another department or can take on more responsibility, then that's different. But you can't just say, well, yes, that's my family, so he can do this or she can do that. I'm gonna give them this, and no. For what? You're hurting yourself. You are hurting yourself that way. You have to be realistic. You can't just always be idealistic. You have to be realism in it and look at it and say, hey, this may be my family, this may be my uncle, my cousin, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father. But you know what? They don't fit in this category. They don't fit in this department in my life that I need to get right, and that's growing me right now. I need to keep them in this department. And maybe you need to let them know that. Sometimes you have to be outspoken to them too. And some people can take it and some people can't. Depends on your delivery. And even with your delivery, some people still can't take it. Because some people will say, hey, listen, we liked you, we enjoyed the time with you, but it's just not working out for the organization right now. So we're gonna have to let you go. I'm sorry about that. And people are like, oh, you're just firing me because you're trying to keep money in establishments and this and that and grow and they just get pissed off at you. Some people just send you an email, say, and have somebody walk up the stairs and say, we escorting you out, we have to let you go. Thank you for your time. Now, it's just different ways how you handle it. You have to figure that out and how you take it. Don't be responsive to it because you know the goal. You have to. So you have to know how to hire people in your life, where to place them when you hire them, and if they're even need to be a part of your organization. And you need to know how to fire people in your life or keep them in a department where they need to be. Not everybody needs to be a manager. Not everybody needs to be a director in your organization. Not everybody needs to even be in every department touching something. They need to just be where they're good at that fits your relationship. So we really need to understand the concept of hiring people in our life and firing people in our lives. And also the other way around it, we need to understand for ourselves where we go to look for work in our life. Who we want to be our employer. You understand? And where we want to stay at, where maybe we should quit. Where we job searching. You understand? And where do we need to be leaving? What job do we need to be leaving and say, hey, quitting at? It works both ways. But we have to be conscientious of it and realistic. Of saying, hey, this person, that person, this thing doesn't work in this part of my life right now. Or doesn't work on this everyday basis. Or doesn't work on what I'm trying to do. And this is where they need to be. This is the fun zone, right? This is the work zone, right? This is the creative zone, right? This is the meditational zone, right? This is the workout zone, right? You know what I mean? Not everybody, you're not gonna have the friend who wants to always have fun, wake up with you at 5:30 in the morning to go work out and go jog. I doubt that's gonna happen. If it does, that's great, because some people are like that, but a lot, they're trying to get to sleep for the next night, after Friday night for Saturday night. So you need to understand that. You know what I mean? Who goes where? Some people won't see your vision. That doesn't mean they're not your friend. That just means they're not in that part of your life. They don't need to be in that department, okay? You need to have people who are with that innovation of yourself in that department. That's who you speak to about that. That's who speaks to you about that, because they're about your growth and they're willing to support you in that. And you got some people who don't want to go out and hang out. They're like, nah, I don't want to do that. So that's not the person you bring in that part of your life. But they may be down to speak to you about books and innovation and things that you're trying to grow with yourself. You deal with them on that level, And we have to look at that. We can't just bring everybody in and then expect them to be a part of everything or feel they should be a part of everything, because that's when we get disappointments. That's when we get hurt. That's when we start feeling like, what's wrong with us? Because you didn't really look at the criteria of what this friendship or what this family is about, who this person's supposed to be in your life, this relationship, how this relationship works, and if this relationship even works. You understand? There's nothing wrong with that. So please, take your time to see who you're hiring in your life, who needs you to fire in your life, and what job seeking you're looking at, and where you need to quit. Pay attention to these things, man. It will help you day to day to have a better organization, to be more valuable with yourself, with your time, because value is what we're trying to grow. That's what we're trying to grow right now. Our value. We wanted to see it go up. We don't want to see it get deteriorated. We don't want to have to go file unemployment. We don't want to have to go file bankruptcy on our entity. We don't want that. We want to see it grow. We want to have an exit strategy where if we pass it along to our kids when they inherit it, it just keeps on going as a legacy. You understand? Or whoever we decide to sell it to. You know what I mean? When we pass on. So let's just take a look at that. Who you need to fire, who you need to hire. Okay? Let's take a look at that.